Hello, Elizabeth Moore here, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to spot hidden sugars in our food. So we all know that sugar isn't the best thing for us and that we should be limiting our consumption. But that's hard to do because it's not just labeled as sugar on a label. So we have to be a little bit of a detective when it comes to finding the sugars that are hidden in our foods. So, according to the American Heart Association, the average male should have about 37.5 grams of sugar maximum a day, and the average female should have about 25 grams of sugar maximum a day. Now, when you think about 1 teaspoon of sugar equals about 4 grams. So for guys, that's right around 9 grams, and for females, that's right about 6 grams. Or 6 teaspoons, sorry. 9 teaspoons for men, 6 teaspoons for women. So we need to be mindful in finding those hidden sugars in our food so that we're not going over that. Now, I know that some people can eat sugar all day long and not have a problem with it, and that some people cannot eat sugar and they really have to watch their intake. But the main thing here is that too much sugar is not good for anybody. So, there's a couple things that are tricky about looking for sugars. So the first thing is that the total sugar, so if you just look at the label and the total sugar, that doesn't distinguish between natural sugars and added sugars. So the only way you're going to tell the difference if there's been sugar added is by looking at the ingredients. The second thing that's tricky is that the ingredients, finding it in the ingredients is hard because they'll either name it like a long scientific name that we wouldn't recognize, or they'll name it something completely different. They'll just completely rename it. And then the third thing that's tricky is ingredients are listed in order of quantity. So instead of having 15 grams of one sugar, what they'll do, and then it's way up on the ingredient list, what they're going to do is they're going to add 3 different kinds of sugar. So there'll be, say, 5 grams of 3 different kinds. So 15 grams would be way up on the ingredient list, but 5 grams will be way down. So we're looking at, the first couple ingredients, but the sugar, because they broke it up into a couple different things, is way down on the list. So when we see it, we're like, oh, well, it's not that much. But you got to make sure that you're looking for all of it. So go through all the ingredients. So here's my easiest tricks to find it. There's tons of different words that they use to describe it, but I'm going to give you just a couple to look for, a couple keys to look for. So the main one is the suffix OSE, so anything that ends in ose. So that's going to be sucrose, glucose, maltose, dextrose, anything that ends in that ose. That's a pretty good indication that it is just sugar. The second thing is to look for things that should scream sugar in your mind. So the first one would be cane. So if we think of sugar cane, that might be an easy way to remember it. So anything that says cane in it, anything that says syrup, again, that's a good one because if we think of the syrup that we put on our pancakes and stuff, that's a lot of sugar. And then the third one is juice. So anything that says juice, in our minds we might think that, oh, it's juice, so it's healthy. Well, actually, that's just a clever way that they'll describe a sugar. So the last key that I wanted to make was to be aware of the artificial sugars. So that's things like aspartame, sucralose, saccharin. You got to do your own research and find what is going to be best for you personally and what you're comfortable with putting in your body. But a good way to spot if there's artificial sugars in there is if something is labeled sugar-free, but it would taste sweet. So if you know that it's going to taste sweet, that means there's something in it that's sweet. If there's no sugar, that means there's artificial something in it. And I mean, there are sugars in the health community that are considered, better. That would be like raw honey, molasses, stevia is one of them that also is kind of considered to be okay. But again, they're all controversial. Everything has their good points and their bad points, and people like to fight over what's best. So the main thing here is you got to do your own research and decide, what's going to be the best for you. So I hope these tips helped, at least to help you to be able to read a label better and to find those hidden sugars, and have a great day.